Assalamualaikum students. In this video I will discuss about the development of the midgut. Midgut is a part of the GIT, gastrointestinal tract. Its development starts in the 5th week of the development. If we talk about the midgut derivatives, they include the duodenum, the distal half of the duodenum, small intestine and large intestine, and the 2/3 portion of the large intestine, not whole of the large intestine. The midgut extends from the major duodenal papilla to the 2/3 of the transverse colon. And if we see the midgut dorsally, it is covered by the double-layered dorsal mesentery, while ventrally it communicates with the yolk sac by the wet-lined duct or yolk sac. Here in this diagram, this represents the wet-lined duct and this is the midgut. The stomach, which is the part of the foregut, and this hindgut. The main steps which are important in the development of the midgut are here. Number 1 is the development of the primary intestinal loop. Appearance of the primary intestinal loop. As the primary intestinal loop has 3 parts. Number 1 is the apex, number 2 is the sphenic, and number 3 is the caudal part. The middle wider part of the primitive gut elongates and form the primary intestinal or midgut loop. So these are the elongated wider part of the primitive gut which form the primary intestinal loop. In this way, these loops are formed in the abdominal cavity. As the loop develops, the space in the abdominal cavity shortens because the liver and stomach growth also going on at the same time. So then the primary intestinal loops moves to extraembryonic cavity. In this way, the extraembryonic cavity, this shows the extraembryonic cavity, and this process is called physiological herniation. This is not pathological herniation, as this is the normal developmental part and it is not pathological or not harmful. So in this way, the primary intestinal loop rapidly grows, and in the abdominal cavity shortage of space which moves out the intestinal loops to the extraembryonic cavity. Herniation, here herniation means that primary intestinal loops move to the extraembryonic cavity for some time, because in the abdominal cavity the free space decreases. And then the number process is the rotation of the midgut. Rotation is an important part of the development. These are the counterclockwise rotation of the midgut. As the midgut enters the umbilical cord, it rotates 90-degree counterclockwise. Superior mesenteric artery, which provides the access for the rotation of the midgut. The point to remember here is that 90-degree rotation occurs at physiological herniation when the primary intestinal loops come out to the extraembryonic cavity, and when they are returned to the abdominal cavity, then again 180-degree rotation is seen. So the total rotation is the 270-degree. The superior mesenteric artery provides the axis around which these loops rotate. Then the next process is the retraction of the intestinal loop. Here you can see the diagrams that show the rotation. This is the wet line duct and this is superior mesenteric artery. Here the intestinal loops rotate and the sphenic limb and caudal limb are produced. The caudal limb, the caudal limb soon develops a swelling at its ends. This is called the sickle bud, which acts as a marker throughout the rotation. When loop return into the abdominal cavity, 180-degree rotation can be seen. So in this way the total rotation is 270 degree as the first one rotation is about 90-degree counterclockwise and then plus 180-degree rotation when the intestinal loops are returned back to the abdominal cavity. Then the retraction of the intestinal loop by the end of the 10th week. At this stage, the loop re-enter in the abdominal cavity because the rotation produces free spaces in the abdominal cavity, and the size of the abdominal cavity also increases due to the regressment of the nephron and the slowdown of the liver growth. In this way, the intestinal loops from the extraembryonic cavity come into the abdominal cavity. Then the next process is the mesentery proper formation. In this, the mesenteries keep the intestinal loop to attach with the abdominal cavity, as the intestinal loops through the mesentery is attached to the anterior and posterior abdominal wall. So once again, the primary intestinal loop, as I have discussed, that it has three parts: apex, sphenic and caudal part. Apex is connected with the yolk sac through the Vitelline duct. The sphenic part develops into duodenum, jejunum and ileum. The some part of the duodenum is developed from the sphenic part of the primary intestinal loop or the midgut, because the rest of the duodenum part is formed by the foregut, and then the jejunum is formed from the sphenic part, and then some part of the ileum also develops from the sphenic part of the primary intestinal loop. Then the rest of the ileum is formed by the caudal part. Then ascending colon is derived from the primary intestinal loop. Then cecum and 2/3 of the transverse colon. The descending colon is developed from the hindgut, and the rest of the transverse colon is also developed from the hindgut. Then for the rotation, small intestinal loops rotate and increase in length and coiling. During the rotation, small intestinal loops are increases in size and show coiling, while the large intestinal loops only show the increase in length but not coiling. This is the point to remember. And in this way, the transverse colon, you can see, this is the Vitelline duct, this is cecal bud, and this represents the stomach. And this is the jejunal-iliac loops, which then form the jejunum and ileum. This is the duodenum, and the transverse colon, you can see, this is cecum part, and this one is the appendix. Then in the rotation, when the rotation occurs, the first jejunum retract into the abdominal cavity during the retraction of the primary intestinal loop in the abdominal cavity from extraembryonic cavity, and the jejunum lies at the left side of the abdominal cavity. Other move to the right side and are just here. The last one that retract into the abdominal cavity is the cecum with the appendix. So in this way, the midgut is formed and their derivatives are formed. The arterial supply of the midgut is the superior mesenteric artery, which provides the access for the rotation of the intestinal loops. So this is the end of the midgut development.